Good morning, everyone. If you're in Budapest, good evening. Today is Saturday with Botond. Throughout the week, I have on lots of guests, my dad, Vish, the writers at Sports Illustrated, and we get into the nitty-gritty of the Niner details. But on Saturday, I like to bring on Botond and talk big picture because I just feel like he has a better view of the big picture from Budapest. He can see it better. He's further away. So, Botond, let's talk big picture 49ers topics, starting with Jimmy Garoppolo. We mostly assume he's gone. Kyle Shanahan came out this week and said he's going to be the starter next season. My question for you is, does he really have a future with the 49ers, Jimmy?
Thanks for the question. Hey, everyone. Glad to be here, as always. Well, I don't think that he's going to be a star quarterback for the 49ers next year. Actually, I think that he's not going to be a starting quarterback at all. But maybe he can for a team like the Chicago Bears because they have a QB problem as we have right now. Actually, I have to say that it's just some kind of tactics from Kyle Shanahan. When you want to change your quarterback, who was a franchise quarterback for your team, then you won't say it's half season that, okay, we are done with Jimmy and we don't want him to start anymore. I think that's not Kyle Shanahan. It's just a tactic. He wants him to play the last two games in this season if Jimmy is going to get healthy. And I think that it's just because he wants to raise the trade potential of Jimmy Garoppolo right now.
Yeah, I don't think he has a future with the franchise either. I mean, it seems to me like just financially, they can't bring him back. He's too expensive and they don't have a good enough, he hasn't proven enough. If he could have stayed healthy this year and played like he played last year, they might have considered keeping him, even if he hadn't improved and they were expecting that second year improvement. Even if he hadn't improved, they might have kept him just for the sake of continuity. But he didn't. He didn't improve. He regressed. He got hurt. The cap's going down. I don't see how financially they can keep him or why they would want to. I think their team would be better off without him because if they keep him, then who are they going to have to get rid of? Trent Williams? Maybe. I don't think how you can keep Trent Williams, Jimmy Garoppolo, and extend Fred Warner. So I'm going with the left tackle and the middle linebacker. I think that's the way it's going.
Yeah, that's for sure. And on the other hand, why I think that Jimmy won't be in this team next season is because if you want to keep your quarterback in your team, then you don't scout college quarterbacks.
Openly. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear. When the Niners thought they had their quarterback, they weren't interested in quarterbacks at all. They haven't drafted a quarterback since 2017, which is a big no-no, according to Bill Walsh. He said you should draft one every year. And when they wanted Kirk Cousins, they didn't even really seriously examine Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, these guys. So, yeah, the fact that they're looking at all these guys very closely tells you everything. Yeah. And when you said something real quick before we move on to the next topic that you don't think he's going to be a starter anywhere next year, expand on that.
Well, as people know me in this show almost every Saturday since we first talked, that I'm the negative guy from the heart of Europe, as I told you.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So, first of all, I think that this season was great to expose all the weaknesses that Jimmy has, even though he was injured on the last games against the Arizona Cardinals. He wasn't injured, and all the games when people said that he played decently, those stats were artificially made up to that level. And if you just watch he play this game, I think that, of course, I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy from Hungary who likes football, who reads football, who lives with football, I think. But even I can see that he is not more than just a game manager. Of course, he won some games for the 49ers. He was great in 2017, but it was so long ago. I don't mind that Jimmy will be as good again as he was in 2017, or maybe he can get back to that form, but he has to have some good psychological stuff to work with. and a QB guru.
Yeah,
That's the key.
some people are saying he would go back to New England and start there. I'm not even so sure about that
No.
because they're going to be in position to draft a quarterback just like the 49ers. And can you tilt your screen down a little bit? Because I got this thing cutting off your face a little bit. Yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like if they're in a position to draft Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, Kyle Trask, why would you not do that? Why would you bring back 29-year-old Jimmy Garoppolo, who's had all these injuries? I mean, people like Jimmy Garoppolo. He has a lot of good qualities, but I mean, it's a fact that the Patriots got rid of him. And if they thought he was the next Aaron Rodgers, they would have found a way to keep him. And I think what you can say about Jimmy is even a team like the Patriots that thinks the highest of him would have to agree that he hasn't shown that he's durable enough to be a full-time franchise quarterback. He hasn't shown that. So even if they do bring him back to New England, I don't see how they give him a starter's contract or anything more than a one-year deal. He has to prove himself the way Tannehill did, and I think they're going to draft a quarterback regardless of whether Jimmy Garoppolo is a free agent. One more thing real quick. Wilson says 27 Jimmy was awesome. Divide his regression pie. What percentage to ACL, Kyle's protection, Jimmy's natural talent, other, etc. Yeah. Why did Jimmy regress from 2017? Let's list all the reasons why.
So why he regressed?
Yeah.
Well, in 2017, he was just threw into games. I don't think that it was a decent game plan for Kyle Shanahan to play with Jimmy Garoppolo that year. And it was just those games were given into Jimmy's hands to do whatever he can to prove himself, to get a new contract. And actually, I think that changed a lot after that. Next year, it was the first year when Kyle just shimmed his system into Jimmy Garoppolo's talent.
Yeah.
And he wasn't good that year.
No, 2018.
Before the ACL, it was 49ers were 1 win and 2 losses, if I remember well, before Jimmy got injured against the Kansas City. And after that, we just saw that he first thing that I remember from 2019 was that the first time when he got back into the field, he was scared. That was the first thing that I noted, that he was scared after the ACL injury.
Yep.
And after that, for some games, what I saw was that Kyle tried to protect him. If you remember, those games were won by the defense, not by the offense.
Yep.
And after that, after he got back some of his confidence, he could do so much other things. I think it was a flashback against the New Orleans Saints, how good Jimmy was in 2017. That showed us that he can still do that. But in Kyle's system, I don't mind that he's going to get back into that form that he was in 2017.
Great answer. Let me list. I just made a list real quick of 5 things that changed from 2017. When he came to the team in 2017, one, he was cheap. He was an unknown. There was no book on him. People didn't know how to defend him. He hadn't torn his ACL yet. He'd had hurt his shoulder, but he was relatively healthy. And he was able to play on instinct. He was able to improv. He didn't know the Niners system. He just kind of came here and ad-libbed and was great at it. So since then, he's had to learn Kyle Shanahan's system and I don't think it fits him well. I don't think he's really a master at it the way Kirk Cousins might have been or Matt Ryan was. So the system doesn't fit him and it's cumbersome and it doesn't allow him to play free and easy the way he did in 2017. Kyle's coaching style is so negative and abrasive like John Gruden. I don't think it's the right coaching style for Jimmy. Jimmy comes from New England where he was coached by Bill freaking Belichick, who I think was even more gentler with him. He would say, Jimmy, you're great. I think you're really good. Where Kyle's like, dude, you're overrated. Dude, these are all your problems. That's tough. Also, the injuries. I agree. He plays scared now. He plays to protect himself. He didn't before. He actually was pretty tough in 2017. Yeah. He's been exposed to the league. There is a clear book on Jimmy Garoppolo, just as there is on every young quarterback about 30 starts into their career. And the next step for a young quarterback is to adjust to the league's adjustments. He hasn't done that yet. Nope. And then finally, that contract. He's very expensive. And every year he gets more expensive. and other players have to leave the team, and the expectation is that he's going to make up for the loss, that he's going to make the replacements better, and he hasn't been able to do that. That's 5 things that have contributed to the regression of Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yep.
Good question, Wilson. You have anything else you want to say?
Actually, I agree with you. If you have a franchise quarterback who you play a lot of money, who you play 27 million exactly, and you get rid of other players because of him, you expect that player to win you matches, and I don't mind that Jimmy can win single-handedly matches for the 49ers. I don't know if you remember, but first time when we have talked, that was the thing that I said to you about Jimmy Garoppolo, that I don't think that he has the ability to win games single-handedly, and that's a problem why we are talking about franchise quarterback, because that's why they got paid so much money.
Right. Look at Jared Goff. I mean, you're paying a guy $35 million a year. You're going to have to get rid of offensive linemen, defensive linemen, linebackers. You're going to have to sacrifice a lot. And the whole idea is, well, it's okay because we have a franchise quarterback who makes other people better, like Ben Roethlisberger. You get rid of Antonio Brown, no problem. We got Ben Roethlisberger. He's going to make all these other wide receivers look great too, and he does. They don't have that type of quarterback, and it's rare. And if you don't have that type of quarterback, you have no business spending money like you do on one like you do. All right, let's move on. Okay, so we agree no future on this team. We've talked that Kyle Shanahan wants him to play again this season, and I'm going to get to that again. I want to talk at length about that, or a little bit more at length, even though you've discussed it. But first, will Jimmy Garoppolo play again this season? Shanahan wants him to. He's supposed to be healthy in a couple of weeks. Let's predict. Will he make another appearance this season?
Well, actually, I wouldn't be surprised if he is going to play. But it will be because Kyle will force him to play.
Yeah.
Because what I think of is right now, I don't think that Jimmy Garoppolo still wants to play for this team this season or the next season. I don't think that he wants to play for the 49ers again. And it's because this season was good to ruin all his confidence that he had before. Last off season was good to ruin all his confidence that he had before. And I don't think that he developed here. And if you are an elite sporting man who is doing sports for money, I think the first goal that you should have is to develop yourself or to get developed. And that's something that didn't happened here with Jimmy. But he will play, and he will play because of Kyle Shanahan. Because if Jimmy can play again, if he's healthy enough to play again, if Kyle Shanahan can just construct some fancy plays for Jimmy Garoppolo to increase his trade value, then he will do that for the last 2 games. And on the other hand, Kyle Shanahan doesn't want to show us that he didn't want to get into the playoffs. And he said before that Jimmy is our best chance to get into the playoffs. That's why if Jimmy can play, he will play.
True. I mean, Kyle wants to win. And the way I look at this team is, even though they're 4-6, they're very confident in their ability to coach and maximize what they have. And I think they feel if they could get a few players back, they could go on a run. So theoretically, they're 4-6 now. If they win 3 of their next 4, so 1 of the next 2 plus the game against Washington and Dallas. If they win, which is possible, they've beaten the Rams before. If they win 3 of the next 4, they get to 7-7. Then they'd look to Jimmy like, okay, dude, like, can you take us home? Can you come back and win the next 2 games and take us to the playoffs? I think that's there's something there. But then from Jimmy's perspective, I wouldn't want to play again for the 49ers. I wouldn't. And you said Kyle Shanahan will force him. I think he'll pressure him too. But Shanahan pressured him to come back against the Dolphins, and look how that worked out. What Jimmy can say is, look, man, you tried to force me back already. You already disagreed with me when I said I was more hurt than you said I was. Do you want to do this again? You want to do this again and push me out there? Because I'm going to say finally that I'm not healthy enough to play, and you're going to look bad. You're going to look like you're questioning my toughness. And I think Jimmy has a little leverage here and a little horsepower. He's not like Alex Smith in 2007. He's Jimmy freaking G from New England with the same agent as Tom Brady. He's got some power. I don't think he's playing again. I'm saying he's not playing again for the 49ers, but I think probably the odds would be in your favor. I'm saying he's not.
We will see. We will see. But I'm pretty sure that he will play again. And that he will play again. I think that it could be because he wants to get, if he knows that he won't play the 49ers again, he wants to get into a team which is good for him. And I think if he plays decently, then he has more chance to get into the team who he will fit well.
Fair enough. Like a little mini audition. Yep. Okay. All right. We've talked about this, but let's just give it its own topic because I haven't addressed it yet. Why are all the reasons that Kyle Shanahan wants Jimmy back this season? Why won't he just move on? Yeah, all of them. He wants to win. He wants to build up his trade value. Those two things, right?
Yeah. On the other hand, I think that if you said before that in the Bay Area there are not so little Jimmy Garoppolo fan club who dives for Jimmy, even though Jimmy is bad and he was bad.
They're in the comment section right here too. They're real upset that when we say that he's not going to be the quarterback here next. What are you talking about? That's basically what they're saying. Never mind. Yes.
Yeah. So I think that the fans would kill Kyle Shanahan if there's a chance that Jimmy Garoppolo could play that, but he won't play. So if Kyle Shanahan wants to prove for these fans, if our franchise wants to prove for these fans that Jimmy Garoppolo is not our man, then the last two games of this season against the Seahawks, for example, will be a good example to show other people that Jimmy is not good enough to be a franchise quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. And I think that could be a reason why Kyle Shanahan wants Jimmy to play again.
I think Kyle Shanahan wants to finish the season with a non-losing record. I think finishing the season 7-9 wouldn't be great for him. It wouldn't be bad, but I think he'd love to finish at least 8-8, and Jimmy could help him. But most importantly, let's look big picture, Botond. He could have traded Jimmy last year. From what I understand, he could have traded Jimmy to New England for a first-round pick and said no. Could have had Tom Brady and said, no, thanks, we're good. So now they're in a position where they may not be able to even trade Jimmy at all because of COVID-19 and the cap going down. He may just be too expensive. And even if they do trade him, coming off this season where he played 4 quarters of healthy football that weren't even that good, what's his value? I mean, if they do trade him, you might get a 4th or a 5th for him. So that's tough to know that you could have had the first, you could have had Brady, you said no to both. The decisions blew up in your face. Then the next year you got to try to go back and do what you should have done the year before, and now you're only getting nothing or next to nothing. So yeah, put him out there. Maybe he wins some big games against Arizona and Seattle. Maybe he gets into the playoffs, gets some of that Jimmy mystique back. It only takes a couple of wins. All it takes is Jimmy to make 2 throws and have 2 wins, and people are like, oh my God, he's the greatest quarterback of all time. Maybe you can rebuild some trade value. I think that's what it is.
And you know what? Do you know what I think? Who is the greatest loser this season for the 49ers?
Who?
Kyle Shanahan. He is the greatest loser from all the 49ers team because what we saw this year, we thought that Kyle Shanahan is the genius. Mm-hmm. What I think right now is that Kyle Shanahan is not a genius right now for this team. The genius of this team right now is Robert Saleh.
Agreed.
That's
Agreed.
Walnut.
Yeah.
He kept Jimmy Garoppolo, as you said before. He could have Tom Brady. He could have a first-round pick for Jimmy Garoppolo, but he kept him. Second loss. And the third loss. So many games that were miscoached by Kyle Shanahan this season. So many games. For example, against New Orleans.
Yes. The short yardage stuff, the special team stuff, he did not hold up his end of the bargain, which is too bad because the defense was out of its mind good.
And the last thing that I think this was the first season when we saw a lot of panic moves from Kyle Shanahan.
Tell me.
Panic moves.
Let's listen.
For example, if you are thinking back of the New England game where Deebo Samuel got hurt, we had we had so much lead. Why would you keep Deebo Samuel on the field, who came back from a leg injury before?
Yep, and look, I think they were up 30 something to like 6 or something. It was late in the game. It was third, I believe, and 8. They lined up Deebo Samuel at running back and pitched him the ball on 3rd and 8. That is so unnecessary. It's something you do with him intermittently throughout the game, but the game's over. It's 3rd down and long. You're not going to pick up this 1st down. It doesn't matter if you do or not. Just give the ball to Jerick McKinnon and let him, jog his way to 4 yards and be done with it. Yep, good call. Not just that too. Like the fact that they've had their running back rotation all year.
Yeah.
Like they've lost games because they don't have enough healthy running backs, and that's the easiest position to get healthy bodies in the entire league. Like they've lost games too because they had to start Jerick McKinnon and they had no viable backup. When Jordan Howard was just waiting on the couch, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Meanwhile, you got Robert Saleh showing up Kyle Shanahan weekly. He has less to work with, and he has a top 5 defense. He has no pass rush. And having no pass rush is kind of the defense equivalent to having no starting quarterback. So he's working around that. He's blitzing. He's mixing up coverages, just doing everything you have to do to have a good defense without a pass rush, and he's doing it. Kyle, on the other hand, is just floundering.
Yeah.
He has his moments. Like against the Rams and Patriots, he was good. Maybe he'll be good next week, but he's had some games just like Miami, the Packers. Well, I'll give him a pass for the Packers, but the Saints and Miami games in particular, and the Eagles too. The Eagles too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those games were terrible from Kyle Shanahan, I think. Yeah.
But real quick, before we move on from this topic, let's linger on Saleh. It seems like he can outcoach any offensive coach right now. McVay, McDaniels, anyone.
Yeah. I think the only concern that we could have with this defense right now, with Saleh right now, that this defense is just relies so much on the offense because we don't have that talent pool that we had last year. Of course, we have tons of great talent that shows this year because we have the 4th, 3rd, and 5th man up in the defense, and they are still good. But they rely so much on the offense and mostly from the time management because I don't think that this defense can win matches when they are on the field for 40 minutes.
Absolutely not. No, absolutely. It needs help
they
from
are
the
not
offense.
built up for that. And they were heroes, I think, against the New Orleans Saints. And they show that they have sparks even at the end of the game, even when they are tons of time on the field. But I think that they are not made for these challenge. I think they rely so much on the offensive game plan and on the success of the offense right now.
Right. And also, I don't think they can match up with the best wide receivers in the league.
Nope.
They go up against like DK Metcalf, DeAndre Hopkins. They got a big problem. And Richard Sherman isn't the answer. They need like a Jalen Ramsey. They need someone young, big, and fast.
Yeah.
And they also need a quarterback. So they got to figure out how they're going to work that out. Before we get to the college quarterbacks, I want to stick with this Rams game real quick. Who do you think should start at quarterback for the 49ers after the bye against the Rams?
I think it's a no-brainer. I would start Richard Sherman, but it's only because
no. Quarterback. Let's get to corner later.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's get to corner later. Sorry.
Okay.
You should start at quarterback.
If we want to go next season with the mobile quarterback, I would start Josh Johnson. Because why not? Why not? Deebo Samuel is going to come back. Raheem Mostert is going to come back. I think if you have some people who can run the ball like these guys and they are mixed up with Josh Johnson, I think that offense would be really interesting, and our run game could get a boost from the quarterback position. So
that's interesting.
I would start him.
That's interesting. I wouldn't go there yet. I still think Nick Mullins gives the Niners the best chance to win, but I would make Beathard inactive. I would call up Johnson. I'd make him the number 2. And if Mullins struggled, I would go to Johnson. And if Mullins struggles and they lose and they're eliminated from the playoffs, why not? In the future, sure, go to John. enough of Beathard. I've seen enough of him for a lifetime, for 2 lifetimes. I still think Mullins gives the Niners the best chance to win, and they're not in they're still trying to win. So I would stick with Mullins, but I would elevate Johnson to number 2. And I wouldn't necessarily. I might have a quick hook on Mullins. We'll see. He hasn't been that great recently, but I would like to see him with a run game. I think he could look a lot better with a run game. So I'd like to see that.
I think that a lot of people are misunderstanding the situation that Nick Mullins has right now, because he has never played with all the starters active that we have in this team. Of course, he's not a franchise quarterback. We talk about it week to week. Of course, I think that Nick Mullins is a great guy. He's a great backup quarterback. He can be a great bridge quarterback. Because he knows the system so well. So well that nobody else in this team right now. I think maybe he knows the offense better than Kyle Shanahan.
He might,
but I would say that he will if he starts next week. I think that he will be so much better with the run game. I think that he will be so much better with Deebo Samuel, because these guys who are coming back gives back into Kyle Shanahan's hands the Jimmy Gimmies that we had before with Jimmy.
Trademark. Before we move on, Anthony asked a question, and we can answer it real quick. Do you see a scenario where the NFL comes together to do something about the post-COVID-19 salary cap, i.e. going down? Grant, any rumblings, Botond, what you think? What I heard is that the league wanted to have all of the losses go into the 2021 cap.
Yeah.
The players wanted it to be basically spread out over a decade, because the more that it affects 2021, the more high-priced vets get cut next year. So they're trying to protect themselves by having it be spread out over 10 years. And I think what they did was compromise at 5. So I think this is going to be affecting the league for a while. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, and I think that so many positions who are overpaid right now is going to get in the future, in the next 5 years, massive pay cut.
Oh yeah,
I think.
And we're going to talk pretty soon about not players the Niners are going to cut this offseason. But I want to stick with the quarterbacks still, because I like talking about quarterbacks. And I was just watching before. This is 10:30 Pacific time on Saturday. Justin Fields is playing right now. Kyle Trask is playing right now. I haven't seen him in the last half hour. I've been talking to you. But before, Fields was struggling. He threw 2 picks, I believe. I saw him throw 1. And Kyle Trask looked good. So what I would – let's rank the top 5 quarterbacks in the upcoming draft. And I think we can agree that they are Trevor Lawrence, in no particular order. Let's do the order. But in no particular order, they're Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, Kyle Trask. Those are the 5. Some people like Mac Jones. I haven't seen that much of Mac Jones.
Nope. I don't think that Mac Jones should be in this list.
Okay. So we agree on the 5. Let's rank them in order from best to worst.
Well,
you rank them in order.
I think that's a no-brainer that Trevor Lawrence is the first of them. I think that he may be better than Andrew Luck was when he was drafted.
Wow. Why?
Well, I think that, of course, Andrew Luck was so elite that before of him, there was just Peyton Manning, who I would say that was so ready to the NFL like Andrew Luck was. But, of course, Andrew Luck was mobile as well. Mm-hmm. But I think there are things that Trevor Lawrence does better, and he is more mobile than Andrew Luck was, I think, what I see.
I think he has a stronger arm, too.
Yeah, and he has a stronger arm, too. Yeah. But he is as accurate as Andrew Luck was. And what I saw from him, that he's a smart guy, but of course, if we just put him into a pro style offense, we will see how good he is. But right now, what I see before he gets drafted is that he may be better than Andrew Luck was.
That's fair. He's definitely number 1. Whichever team has the worst record is going to take him, not trade down. No brainer. Doesn't matter who their quarterback is.
Yep.
Number 2. This is where it gets interesting. Number 2.
You know what? I would go with Kyle Trask.
I think I would too. Now, people, you're watching. The season isn't over.
Yep.
We're allowed to adjust our rankings as more data comes in because scouts don't just make up their mind in mid-November. But it's mid-November. As of now, these are the rankings, and I'm seeing the same thing you are. Talk about Kyle Trask, please.
Well, before the season, what I wrote for the Hungarian Faithful in a little article that the quarterback who is the most underrated right now and who I like the most from this draft class is Kyle Trask. And it's because the mentality that he has. I don't know if the viewers know that he was a backup quarterback
in high school. Yeah.
And he was even backup in college.
Yep.
And he worked his ass off to be a starter for the Florida Gators. And what I saw from him from last year to this year, that he developed so much. He's so much better than he was. Besides of his size, he has a quick release. His deep balls are not so elite, but I think that he can develop himself to be better at it. He doesn't have a rocket arm, but his arm is strong after all. And I think that
he's accurate.
Yeah, he is really accurate.
Really accurate.
And a smart guy. And
you can see him doing all kind of work pre-snap, which is key.
Yeah.
As opposed to Justin Fields. We'll talk about him in a minute. Yes, he is smart, and he's doing a lot of pro things in college. Yeah. He's under center. He's setting protections, all of it. He's reading coverages.
Yeah, and last year he had some reading problems while he faced elite defenses. And what I saw this year that he is doing great while reading defenses and while reading plays. He's so much better than he was last year, and he is getting better week to week. And I just want to see him in the 49ers right now. I would say that.
Well, let me real quick with Kyle Trask. I mean, what I see from him is I think he's going to win the Heisman. I think he's going to end up having a Joe Burrow season.
Yep.
And some people, like, if you don't like Kyle Trask, you'd be like, well, he's not that athletic. He doesn't have the strongest arm, although it's pretty strong. He reminds me of Mason Rudolph. I've heard someone say he reminds me of Mason Rudolph. And I would say that's the reason he's better than Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph played in the Big 12. The Big 12 has no defense. There's no pass rush. You just kind of drop back, and it's like 7-on-7 football. Kyle Trask is playing in the SEC and not at Alabama. He's playing at one of the schools in the SEC, like LSU. Florida's good, but it's not a powerhouse. I mean, he's going against some serious defenses, and when you watch his highlights, he's getting hit. There's bodies around him. It looks like an NFL game. He's under pressure, and he's not phased. He's very tough, unlike Mason Rudolph, who is not, and we know that. So I like his toughness, and I like how you can see him navigate muddy pockets.
Yeah, and the other thing is that, yes, a lot of people says that he is not so mobile, but after all, if you are watching his tape, you can easily see that he can easily get off the pocket. He can just elongate plays, and he is mobile enough to make some plays on his legs. And I think that's enough right now in the NFL. You don't have to be Kyler Murray, or you don't have to be Russell Wilson. But if you have that kind of mobility, that can be enough to be a winning factor for a team.
And Niner fans, I think it's interesting. Look into Kyle Trask. He should be there when the Niners pick. Although if he if he has the Joe Burrow season and has a Heisman season, he may not. He may end up going number 2, where people expect Justin Fields to go. So let's quickly finish ranking the top 5.
Okay, so the third is Zach Wilson.
I agree. I like Zach Wilson a lot. I would put him just behind Trask because I have more questions about Zach Wilson. He plays at BYU. I never see him navigating the pass rush, ever.
Yeah, that's the reason. And the other reason why I'm concerned, last time we spoke about that, is his shoulder. Yeah,
that's scary. He's not the biggest guy. He's had throwing shoulder injury surgery.
Yeah. He had the surgery.
Scary. So, but I still like him. I think I prefer Trask at this point. Good call.
Yeah.
Number 4,
Trey Lance.
I agree. I would put Fields number 5. There's something about him. He's a good athlete. And if he had gone to LSU or Florida and been able to like actually do, or Clemson, more like NFL stuff, whatever they're doing at Ohio State does not prepare quarterbacks for the NFL. It just does them a disservice, I think.
Yep. That's so true. That's so true.
All right. So Niner fans, that you got it. That's the top 5. Go watch Trask. You've watched a lot of Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's a lot of fun. But keep in mind, he's never – look at the pocket. It's the Mountain West Conference. Also, Trey Lance, look at the pocket, you know. Kyle Trask is getting hit. He's tough. All right, let's move on.
Yep.
Who should start at cornerback against the Rams?
Okay, so I said before that it's a no-brainer for me. I would start Richard Sherman, and it's just because of the fact that he can get the ball anytime when the ball is thrown into his direction.
Yes, he
can.
Of
course, there are some downsides playing Richard Sherman.
Yes,
because, there are. Because he is not so fast as he was. But throughout his career, he never was so fast. He never had an elite speed or something like that. He's a good zone coverage quarterback for the short routes. He's a good man coverage quarterback. And but I think the main reason why I would start him this season, until we didn't give him a new contract, is that there's always the factor that he will get you the ball.
True. It's really true. And even if he doesn't get you the ball, quarterbacks are terrified to throw at him.
Yeah.
Terrified.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers never throws at him. Well, except for in the NFC Championship that one time. But mostly he doesn't throw at him. You're right.
Yeah. That's
all right. Well, let me debate this one with you. I mean, big picture, before I get into the nitty-gritty details, big picture, this defense has just been fine without him. I mean, they're top 5 playing really well, coming off their best performance of the season, having shut down Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders. So it's one of those, to me, like, if it ain't broke, why are you trying to fix it? Also, I know Richard Sherman does what he does very well. He's the best zone corner of all time, the best zone corner in the game. When he's on the field playing zone, he just doesn't get tested. And if you do throw at him, you might complete a few passes. If you throw 5, you might complete 4, but the 5th one's getting picked and you're going to lose.
Yep.
But so what I've noticed, though, is that Robert Saleh, when Sherman's on the field, is very reluctant to call man coverage. He picks his spots, because the way I look at it is Sherman can always do a good job against a slant or a fade route, or he can use his physicality. He can use the press. He can use the sideline. But if you get him in a situation where he has to cover a deep crossing route, that's a lot of running. He's going to lose that race. I think right now, if they timed his 40, it would be 4.7 at best. So Saleh's not going to put Richard Sherman in a position to get embarrassed. He won't. He's going to protect Richard Sherman. He has ever since he's gotten here. So that means way less man-to-man coverage. That means I think the completion percentage against the Niners defense goes up. I think the time on the field for the Niners defense goes up, more first downs. I could be wrong, but I think by bringing him back, you kind of hurt the rest of the defense, because less coverage disguise. Less man coverage means less blitzes. You can do some zone blitzes, but it's hard to bring 5 rushers if you're playing zone. So I just feel like there's a lot of negative trade-offs that the Niners have to give to get him back on the field.
Yeah, but it's a high-risk, high-gain situation with Richard Sherman, I think, because he just easily can get you turnovers, which leads you to win matches. And I think
it's true.
That's the reason why they will play Richard Sherman.
You're right. Well, hold on. Maybe there's a middle ground here. Considering the Niners defense has played well without him, they've changed their identity, they do new things, they're number 5, and considering he's missed 2.5 months, maybe they say, look, it's your first game back. We're not going to start you, but we will play you. We'll play you in our sub packages on 3rd down. You know, we'll play you outside and we'll move Mosley into the slot. So we're going to get your feet wet. We don't want you to play too much your first game back. And then they see how he does. If he responds well to that and plays well, increases playing time. If he looks rusty and they play better without him, then move him back to the bench. I think there's like a diagnostic first game you could give him without giving him a full workload and a start. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to use Richard Sherman after he returns. So
okay,
we will see.
Okay, I don't know if he'll allow it, Richard. That's what I would do. Okay. Speaking of cornerbacks, should the 49ers sign DeAndre Baker? He was a first-round pick a couple of years ago, picked higher than Debo. First-round pick, and was cut by the Giants because it's a bizarre story. Him and Quentin Dunbar were accused of something and were both in trouble, but then it was revealed that they were being extorted. And Quentin Dunbar's career went on, and he's with the Seahawks, but Baker's still unsigned. It seems really awful. Should the Niners sign that guy?
Nope. I would say nope.
Nope.
Well, they should, but they won't.
They won't. Right. They would have already if they wanted to. Yes.
Because what I learned about the John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan era is that if they are having a guy with so many black flags, then they just wouldn't sign him or keep him.
Yeah.
That's why they wouldn't sign Adam Smith, even if the Cowboys would give Adam Smith for the 49ers, they won't sign him. That's why they kicked Reuben Foster. That's why they cut Jermaine Brock.
That's true. It's true. You're absolutely right. They don't even want to mess with people who have the perception of being bad apples anymore.
Yep, and I think if you get into a situation like this, there's a reason why.
Ooh, a little judgment from Budapest. Look, that's probably something to it. And the thing is, I would be more interested in just drafting a cornerback in round 1 this year. If you could get a second first-round pick or whatever, if you could trade for something and move up a little bit, get a corner, that'd be better than getting DeAndre Baker. But look, the guy was falsely accused. It seems a little unfair. I don't know the whole thing. Maybe the NFL knows more about this story than I do. But if he really was falsely accused, like Dunbar, who's still employed with the Seahawks, man, that stinks. I would hate to be a target like that and have it actually ruin my life. And I'm such a famous, rich person that I worry about things like this because I could be the next DeAndre Baker. So I feel for him.
Actually, I'm not saying that I think that he's guilty.
Of course. I know you're not. I know you're not.
But if you get a situation like that will just make you so much questionable.
You'll take a PR hit because you introduce him, and every article locally is DeAndre Baker was accused of this. We don't really know. Allegedly did this. It's like it's not the greatest day for the Niners.
Yeah.
Look, hold on. Niner by Nature just spent $5 to say Kyle Trask, Justin Fields. Yeah, we agree.
Yep.
We agree. Yep.
So true.
I got 5 on that. All right. 2 more questions, and then I'm going to let Botond go have a nice night in Budapest. Who should the 49ers cut this offseason?
The list is long. I think.
Yes, it is.
First of all, I would cut, and that may surprise other people, but I would cut Mike McGlinchey.
Oh, wow. Now, here's the thing. They're not going to cut Mike McGlinchey because for the same reason they never cut Solomon Thomas. There's no financial benefit to cutting a former first-round pick on a rookie deal. But I'm with you on that.
I would do that because he has a mentality that is so toxic for a team, for a sports team. He says that, yes, I'm good. I'm still here. But actually, you are still there on the ground, pancaked. Good job. Pancaked by a nickelback, pancaked by a quarterback, pancaked by a safety.
Right. The attitude should be, this isn't good enough. And his attitude is, what I'm doing is good enough. Yeah. You guys are nitpicking plays here and there, but big picture, I'm doing my job well enough. And that's pretty much the Niners' attitude this season. You guys are being too hard on us. Yeah, we're 4-6. We've had some bad luck. We're doing a good job. Stop being so hard on us. That's the Niners' attitude, and it sort of comes from him.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
So I would cut D Ford as well.
Oh, goodbye.
We don't need him. We
Don't need
just
him.
can't use him because he is so injury prone. Of course, I hate to say that because he's so rare combination of strength and speed, and he's a natural speed rusher, which is a really rare kind in the NFL. But if he is injury prone like that, then we just can't use him. And with the financial situation that the COVID made this year, we just can't afford to have a pass rusher who we can't use.
With regards to D Ford, yes, they need to cut him. I wouldn't be surprised if he retires. And in that vein, it kind of seems like he retired 2 years ago. It kind of seems like he retired as soon as the Niners traded for him, gave him all that money, and he said, "Oh, thanks. I will do my best to play football sometimes when I can." And they got about 270 snaps out of him, not counting the playoffs. So, yeah, they funded his retirement. The players the Niners have funded retirements. Pierre Garçon, they gave him a lot of money to do a whole lot of nothing. Malcolm Smith, there's a long list, but that's not what we're talking about right now. Who else should the 49ers cut this offseason?
Well,
Lynchy and D Ford.
If we can't trade him, then I would cut Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yep, agree. That's 3.
And we covered why.
Yep,
So,
that's 3. Is there anyone else? I think there are more.
Yeah. A lot of people. Jimmy Ward, Jaquiski Tart.
Well, Tart's a free agent.
Yep, Tart is a free agent.
But Jimmy Ward, I'm not against it. Weston Richburg.
Yep.
Laken Tomlinson.
Yeah. He's
so.
Well.
Can I think of anyone else? They got rid of Quan. That was preemptive. Good move there.
Yeah.
I'd give Armstead one more chance. Eric, you're going to need to play a little bit better, but you get one more chance.
I'm cheering for you, mate.
Yeah, we believe in you, Eric. We've always believed in you. Don't make me make a slow motion video about you because I'll do it. Don't make me do it. All right. Who should the Niners re-sign this offseason? Final topic. And if you can't think of some names, got to.
Fred Warner, no question about it.
No. And he's going to be expensive. I think he's going to be more expensive than DeForest Buckner.
Yeah, he will be. But I think that he worth the money.
I agree.
And if we are going with a rookie quarterback, we can afford that money.
Because he's a leader and he's durable. He's never missed a game. The Niners, you guys have a problem with players missing games. Stop giving money to people who aren't always on the field. Yes, Fred Warner won. What about Trent Williams? Yeah, it's the face. That's the face I make. I mean, you kind of have to. You don't really want to.
Yeah, but if we are looking at the contracts that the left tackles has and are getting this season from teams,
dude, he's going to be more expensive than Warner.
Yeah, and that's a financial horror story for a guy who is good.
Good. Not a leader. He's good. And he doesn't necessarily play 16 games a year.
Yep.
Yeah, he's good. He's a little overrated. When he came here, people were like, this guy is not a human being. Okay, he is the greatest football player of all time. And I was expecting to see him just eviscerate people. It's like, no, he's holding his own most of the time.
You know what? I would give him a 1 + 5 year deal.
Okay. All right.
And I think that's fair because we can say that he was rusty this year.
Sure. Fair. And they got no more. They got no backup. They got no plan B. They don't have. They got to draft a quarterback and a corner this year. I mean, it's tough. And they could have taken one this year instead of Javon Kinlaw, but they decided to go deep line, and Kinlaw's cool. But there's more. There's more guys. Juszczyk, not Tart. Juszczyk, McKinnon, Coleman.
Oh, McKinnon and Coleman.
Bourne.
I couldn't sign. Bourne. Well, you know what? I would say that if we can draft a wide receiver in the second or the third round, we should do that every year, like the Seattle Steelers.
Yeah, the Steelers do it. The Steelers do it. Yeah, end of the second, beginning of the third. Yep. It's a great spot.
And we should draft a cornerback every year.
Agree. And I would take the corner ahead of the wide receiver, but that's me. Yep.
So I would just let Jet
Bourne, go.
and
Thanks,
Coleman
Bourne.
and Bourne go.
Yeah.
I would say that I would try to keep Kyle check, but with a massive pay cut, because what we are paying for him right now,
Yeah.
with the times that he gets the ball, I wouldn't pay for that much money for a guy. We signed him for so expensive because the 49ers were nowhere when we signed him, and it was hard to get good free agent into this team.
Yep.
Um,
Correct.
but that time is over. So if Kai Juszczyk wants to stay with this organization, he has to agree with the pay cut. But
Fair.
I would resign him.
And it already kind of seems like they're transitioning away from him. They don't even use him that much anymore.
Yep.
So it's like they're either like planning for life without him or trying to drive down his value right now. So they can go to the negotiating table after the season and be like, hey, you didn't get the ball very much. And he's like, well, yeah, you didn't give me the ball. I'm like, well, hey, look, sorry. I don't know. That's semantics. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Anyone else that's going to be a free agent that they got to make a decision about? Oh, how about Jason Verrett, Richard Sherman? The entire secondary. Mosley.
Yeah.
K1.
Wow.
Mosley's restricted. The others are unrestricted.
Well, you know what? I would let Kwon go.
K1, I would too.
Go.
He's getting
I
older.
would let him go. He was great. He's a great guy. He's a great player. But right now, I don't miss him. I just
Jamar Taylor's been fine.
Yeah, he was decent.
Fine.
I must say. Besides the game against the Dolphins, where he was bad. But right now he's good.
Yep,
he's good in that position, I think. Well, I would resign Jason Verrett.
Me too.
And I would give him a deal like I would give to Trent Williams, 1 + 5 year deal, because maybe we just watching a 1-year wonder from him, because we know that he is so injury prone that I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to get injured again.
I agree. I'd like to see him finish the season before I give him an offer. I was on a podcast a couple of days ago, and someone was like, should the Niners give Verrett an extension right now? Like right now. I was like, no. I'd like to see him play 6 more games, please.
Yep, no way.
Yeah, no
way. I would keep Mosley because he proved that he's good.
He's solid.
He's solid.
He's all right. Yeah. He's not great. He's not as good as Verrett, but he's pretty good.
He's getting better, and I think that's the key, because he's just still a young guy, I think.
Yeah.
And Richard Sherman. Well, when he played for the Seahawks, I hated him. I hated him so much, but I've had tons of respect for Richard Sherman, because even though he was one of the greatest trash talkers of all time, he ate the turkey while he was using a 49ers uniform to make himself clean. But but after, he developed himself so much as a man when he got into the 49ers. He is not like the Richard Sherman that he was in the Seattle Seahawks. He became a leader, and I think that even though most of the people say that they would just not resign him, I would resign him.
Interesting.
I would resign him because that defense needs leaders like Richard Sherman in every position group. And
true, they have no one over 30 that's a leader on that team. No. Armstead is not a leader. Warner's a leader, but he's 24. Yeah, that's a good point.
I would resign him. And you know what? The main reason why I would resign him, besides of that, is last time when we signed him, and he was still an elite cornerback with an Achilles injury, he signed a contract which wasn't so big. Mm-hmm. So it was just okay financially. And if they can just agree with a contract like that, I would say, okay, come back.
Well, here's the thing with Sherman. I'm more negative with him, but when the Niners have Nick Bosa and whoever the other edge rusher is going to be next year, Takk McKinley, whoever, plus second-year Kinlaw and motivated Armstead, He's going to look great. I mean, Richard Sherman behind a great 4-man pass rush is elite because he doesn't have to worry about double moves. He doesn't have to worry about long crossing routes. He can kind of jump routes. He knows the ball has to come out quick. That pass rush makes him elite. If this year, though, without that 4-man pass rush, he could get exposed on double moves and things like that. But again, what you're saying, next year, different makeup, different team. You made a good case. I would probably let him go. I'm all about taking the corner in the first round. And I want a big corner. I want someone like Sherman, but young, who can run and can actually cover Hopkins and Metcalf, as difficult as that's going to be to find. But you make a good point. You almost swayed me, Botond. That was good. I like that. All right, man. I think we're out of topics today. Thanks everyone for watching. I know it's late for the people in in Budapest and early for the people out here, but we got to find a time frame that works for both of us, and this is it. So go do something fun in Budapest. We're not allowed to go out here anymore.
Neither are we allowed.
Okay. You got curfew too?
It's right now. It's 8 o'clock, 8 p.m.
Okay.
And from 8 p.m. we are just not allowed to get out of our houses. So
all right. Well, have a fun time watching television tonight. Larry, thank you for watching the entire show. Good luck to Nick. We're all pulling for him. Give him hell on Sunday. Nick, great to see you. Great to see you too, Botond, and everyone. Thanks for watching.
It was nice. Thank you, guys. Have a nice day.